building a real community is still easy.
Yeah. The city is up in the madness. The people is giving the damage. They turn into animal savage. So rhinos and hippos and mammoths.
If you have the right aesthetics, the industry standard aesthetics that everyone are fucking with right now, and the right way to show your brand's vibe through these screens that, you know, we're so addicted to nowadays.
You can copy somebody whom you like very much. You can copy it until end of the copy. You can find yourself.
Every great brand began as a collection of inspirations, pictures and imagery on a mood board, on a board. So to give you guys an example, like, let me jump straight into my computer here and show you what we cook with. Actually, my girlfriend cooked. I just gave her like a board direction, but as you can see, we have these examples of this jacket, hoodie, another jacket here, some custom zip up, like the hood itself, and this is what we cooked, right? A totally different thing, but like it began as a collection of inspirations, and then she took these boards that I created and she created this amazing thing that we actually sold to one of our clients with this custom zip here as well. Dope stuff. The manufacturer probably gonna have a trouble to actually create it. That's one of the examples of how this began as just a collection of inspirations. So first thing we're gonna talk about today is two conversations that I had with two of our brands, going through an exact creative thinking in regards of designing a collection, designing feedback, fabric details, like what fabrics to use, and what story, especially what story to give each of the piece and the overall collection for the upcoming drop. Basically the entire vibe environment for the product and around the product, aka just the storytelling campaigns that we directed the brands to take. The second thing we're going to be talking about is 5 mood boards that we created for 5 brands that you can just literally take, understand our creative direction thinking around it, take the workflow and apply it with your own brand. The third thing we're going to be talking about is why offline community and local connections are becoming way more valuable than digital connections, digital followers, and how can you actually apply both at once. Fourth thing is how to leverage storyboards, how to use storyboards to run ads and scale email campaigns easily as a noob. The fifth thing I'm gonna be talking about is more than 10 trends that is gonna be happening in 2025 and how can you as a brand apply those trend principles within your own ecosystem. So do you know Hellstar? Well, they've been known for this loud ass graphics, ATL, type brands, and they've been quite rebranding recently. So here's a post from Drip. Hellstar's new sweatsuits come with belt loops, right? This is insane. Like, if you look at the quality of the fabric just through this post here, you can see that they really took a big step back to really take 10 more steps. They mastered their, I don't know what type of print it is, screen print, DTG print, laser print, I don't know. And they started looking at the product from more of the actual fashion designing perspective, as of fabrics playing, like how the fabric is gonna be washed, how the garment is gonna be washed, right? So you can see how it's growing here on this piece. It's really insane. Another post from Hellstar, as you can see here, they still have these graphics going on, a lot of them, but I feel like they mastered the actual garment behind it before putting the actual design onto the garment. These leather pants from them, really insane. If you took a look at the history of Hellstar, they've been again very loud as graphics, but they implement their graphic style totally different way into the fabric itself. So And this is very recent. You know, this whole rebranding period is very recent. And this is the laser stuff and how it's being actually manufactured. As you can see, it's not just simple screen prints anymore that most people are doing basically nowadays. They are really playing with the actual fabric. So what a mood board actually is, you already know about this stuff, you know, creating a board, creating a bunch of references, blah blah blah, taking inspiration from stuff, from, you know, different existing imagery, art culture, architecture, paintings, and so on. But what a lot of people, I feel like, don't tell you is that the mood board you're creating shouldn't be used as a thing to copy, more of a thing to feel the vibe from. What the fuck do you mean, Hui? Well, I'm gonna talk about this more specifically when I show you the 5 vibe boards, right, for you to understand. But a lot of people have this misunderstanding of Pinterest that, you know, is just like a consumption space. Yes, to some degree, getting inspiration is consuming, but it comes down to understanding your own mood and your personal vibe, right? Your personal taste and overall what you like. It isn't really just about, you know, finding a bunch of cool pics and bundling them together if you don't know what you're gonna be doing with it. Okay, like if you don't know, okay, I took a look at this pic, I really like the composition of the models, I really like how the models are expressing themselves there, you know, within face or whatever they're doing, other stuff with hands, how they're posing. I really like the lighting in the picture. And if you don't understand this, when you're on set, you won't be able to direct the people on set, because if you don't even know what vibe you're going for, then those people won't be able to follow your vision, you know. So it's very important for you to understand your own vibe that you're going for, and especially using those pictures to be able to communicate that. Now, to give you a real live example of this environment vibe design that I keep constantly talking about, my girlfriend is about to go to like a techno concert in like February or so, and she's not really someone who wears techno shit, okay, like these crazy types of items, accessories, just type of vibes, right? But it's just the environment that sort of got her to, you know, okay, this is the environment I'm going into, so this is what I have to wear, basically, because this is the environment that is speaking to me. This is the room's vibe, and I need to match the room's vibe or I won't fit in, basically, right? So that's how you should think about a lot of times your environment design. So fundamentally, when you're really designing clothes and pretty much anything, you're thinking about the character, how the character is gonna behave in the space, and what space is it, right? So you're developing basically the character. From the character, you develop what space the character basically fits in, and then what the character actually wears. And all of those 3 are basically matched together. It's all aligned. So Hui, shut the fuck up and tell me, how does this actually apply to content? So when you make references for your designs, for your videos, think about the social ambient aspect of it. Put yourself into the shoes of the person that is gonna be buying your shit. Where they at? How do they talk? What the fuck do they do? So I want you to take a look at this picture, okay? And I just want you to feel it, really. Just read the vibe. The best description I have for this pic is that, can you get the consumer to smell the feel of the environment in this pic? What makes this picture interesting? What kind of feeling are you feeling? Why is it triggering those feelings to you? If you can be aware of that stuff, you can always create shit, because you're always aware of your vibe, of your energy. There's always gonna be a gap between your current taste, like what you have in your head, and your ability to put it on actual paper. Overall, it comes down to your awareness. How aware are you, you know, of the vibes around you? Are you being able to actually read them, or are you just delusional? Are you developing your taste? Can you make something look extra more interesting by at least 0.000.1%? Are you developing your production skills? Like if you make clothes, then Are you able to use Photoshop properly or Procreate if you're on iPad? In order to bring your taste into reality, you might have a certain taste, but your skills might not be there if you haven't done enough reps yet. You might have a certain taste to certain music, you know what sounds good and what doesn't, right? Because it's quite a human thing, but maybe you are not able to produce the music on the same level as what you can hear. So let's jump straight into the two chats, okay? First chat I had was with, DLO at Merceval.us, and he said, he sent me these mockups, fucking crazy mockups that he cooked up here, and he said, I want to make it 3D because then it's gonna actually look crazy as fuck in 3D, because you'll really understand and see my whole vision with it. A lot of times when you have a really tough piece, then the 2D version, just the 2D version mockup might not always be enough for you to actually understand your vision. So sometimes you need to take a step further to work with like a 3D, fashion designer, or if you can, do it yourself, to really like see your vision, see where you're actually going. Another thing that he cooked up here, crazy tea, very universal, like nice fucking transcendence vibes, I would call them. When you are working with overseas manufacturers and you might have trouble communicating, what you really want, and your piece is really out of this world, then you might want to work with like a local manufacturer just for one sample, to make like one sample locally perfectly, like get a 3D version on top of it, all tech packs and details included, to send to overseas manufacturers. And what you want to do is send that sample made locally to the overseas manufacturer, and if you were doing it, on set with the local manufacturer, you might want to record it behind the scenes of how it was staged, how it was printed, and basically everything, to make sampling process way smoother. That is, if your piece is really fucking out of this world. Most of the time, if you don't do this, you won't nail the sample in the first try, right? Or you can fly there if you want to, and if you have the capital to do so. By doing this, long term, you're gonna save a lot of time going back and forth with the manufacturer, quite a lot of capital as well, and overall you might be able to drop sooner than you initiated. So in regards of the actual sizing and fit of the actual hoodie, he asked me, let me see a fit you like on hoodies. I already got what I like and I'm gonna do, but I want to see what type of fit you like on hoodies. And I was like, show me what you're going for. He showed me this March collection that he found from some other brand, like some oversized like that, and with a pretty big hood. And I gave him a feedback of the big hood is dope. I'd say boxy fit true to size into a bit oversized would be good, but not ultra oversized, not the standard. I'd stay in between true to size and oversized. What you say? Hold up, I was looking for examples and he really gave like a good example here. And I was like, type shit, maybe not that boxy or cropped, but close to that look. And we ended up with quite a good piece after that. So in regards of branding and how we gonna design an environment to put the pieces into, he came with this pretty great idea. You see like this art gallery museum here, and basically we would do like a maybe custom set, or maybe run even like an offline event for it and create content all around that. Basically, instead of paintings, we would hang up the actual pieces. But I came up with a way better idea. Wait for it, I'm gonna show it to you in the vibe boards in a bit. So chat with Star Web Gallery, and he's actually rebranding to like another name, into like Sakai, which has a way more deeper meaning. But Sakai in Japanese culture, I think I talked to him, means like something like destruction, chaos, something like that. Very universal, very spiritual. So we're initially talking about like the actual hoodie design inspiration. So he had this inspiration with this Carhartt hoodie here. He really liked the acid or stone wash. I don't know what type of wash it is here. Then he sent me like new potential logos. Another design inspiration here, he really liked the pattern on this hoodie. So the 5 mood boards, and this is gonna be very interesting, so fucking take notes. All right, so I've never been able to pronounce this the brand's name, but this is the vibe, right? You pretty much get it. This is the overall vibe. There's some inspiration pictures. that the client had taken. As you can see, very Kanye inspired, a lot of mass, very ancient alien, and the narrative here is nature versus industrial age as an artist, like being, you know, pulled into this, you know, industrial age that we're in so nowadays, while also wanting to stay in more a nature perspective. These are the fits, as you can see, that he sent to us, but we were like, okay, these bottoms, those are nice, but how can we add more emphasis on the top as well? So I was like with my creative team as well, okay, we need to add more emphasis on the top, and they sent me, you know, props that we ordered, as you can see here, some ropes, and I'm gonna be talking about those ropes in a bit when you see the location, and a katana. So this is stuff that we bought as an extra from the client's budget to really, you know, add more emphasis on the overall vibe. So here's are some video vibes that, you know, some brands that we really found very similar to what this brand is trying to achieve. These are campaigns from the actual client that he sent to us for the vibe that, you know, we're gonna want to achieve. So you're really probably understanding the vibe that we're trying to go for, right? For pictures, lightning, and recomposition examples, we decided to go with these pics. So you're probably already, you know, understanding the vibe that we're trying to go for with this brand, right? So for pictures, lightning, and recomposition examples, and really stuff that we want to show to the models and the talent and the videographers and the photographers on set, we are creating these boards to really make sure that everyone on set are set for these vibes, right? We're really, hey, look, a talent one, a photographer, a G, bro, like we are going for this vibe right now, and I want you to tune in into this feeling. This is what we're shooting today. And once you set that, you know, environment design, every person on set is gonna have to think that way, is gonna have to create that way. Here are actually composition inspiration that we're really, you know, trying to achieve. Some composition like this and like this. I really like, you know, these three models standing like this and this thing hanging off the tree. You remember the props, you know, we remember the ropes that we ordered. We want to do something similar. Wait for it, I'm gonna tell you how. Another composition that we're trying to achieve here, another composition or type sheet composition, and this composition, as you can see, an inspiration from a totally different type of brand. But imagine, you know, the vibe that we're trying to go for with this brand. One model standing here, the second model standing here, and maybe in the hand is gonna be like the katana, or we even bought, you know, some flares in the hand, right? So try to imagine it that way. Some gear that we're gonna be actually taking with us. So one of my creative directors did a very good job. So I sent them the vibe that we're trying to go for, and he found these locations in our country, and I didn't know we have these locations up until now. Okay, so insane locations, 3 locations. The client decided to go with this first location, and then for next shoot we're gonna be traveling to these ones because those are a bit more far. This one was the nearest. And again, imagine all the props we have, the katanas, the ropes, how we gonna, you know, design the environment, design the set, right? Maybe put the ropes on the ground or into this mouth or whatever the fuck, you know, katana into the ground. All of that stuff is gonna done, you know, on spot, because I already have like a vision in my head thanks to this board, thanks to being able to connect all these dots that I created, you know, to create like a proper environment design for the clothes. And maybe you're like, why fucking flares? Why katana? Well, the client, you know, had a katana in the story here, so I was like, hey bro, like, can we use it as well? And he also had some flares in the video, So I was like, oh hey bro, can we order those props? And the ropes are very inspirational because he got inspired by this film. I don't know what this I think it's Japanese film is, but he got inspired by this film. And basically the ropes, what it means is that when you are born with a soulmate that you might not know yet. So the rope is what connects you two. It's the, you know, it's the gap between you two, and you always have a soulmate that you might not even know that exists yet. So I was like, okay, that's an interesting way. How can we use those ropes as a way to emphasize on this nature and industrial age that we're in, pretty much. So another brand I want to show is La Verta. It's an actual local brand, and these are the clothes. Nothing like ultra crazy, like I would say like just some Y2K stuff and, you know, a bit opium stuff. I call this main piece and side chick because the main piece was supposed to be like the only thing that we were shooting, but then he wanted to add, you know, another piece to it, to the shoot. So I was like, okay, sure, more diversification for our creativity, you know. So we started off with this vibe, and this vibe didn't really match the client, so, you know, that's why it's crossed out. To give you an introduction, we have access to these 3 cars, where like some of my friends, we have access to them. So 3 vehicles, plus we want to hire some, you know, get some BMX drivers on spot, and if possible then some motorcycle as well, to create like an overall vehicle type of vibe. We want to rent like a hall for it, like an entire, you know, hall, so where, you know, a lot of people gonna fit in. So this is the vibe that we're going for. Travis in this True Forever hoodie. There's the vibe that we're going for. There's the second vibe, again just for the sake of really just showing everyone on spot of what we're trying to achieve. From this stuff, this, you know, from this, I think this Feng system, I think that's the brand. I was like, okay, how do we make like a custom set, like, because this needs more stuff than just, you know, bunch of BMX drivers and, you know, some Mercedes, you know, some vehicles. Like, how do we make it more interesting? So I was like, okay, let's think about like an actual set design, something that, you know, is gonna contrast the red a bit, or not contrast, but like basically add to the entire hall. So this either it's gonna be like a telephone booth or some, you know, graphics based set designs like this. I'm really liking this one and some of these paintings, plus this couch or sofa, whatever the fuck you call it. I'm really fucking with that. So we're trying to go with that. Another option we could go for is have on top of it have all of these extra props like this on set, along, you know, with the sofa around it, or somehow we're gonna have, you know, the brand's logo sprayed. Just imagine like this plastic thing, that's where, you know, the logo is gonna be. Maybe this, instead of this, is gonna be like the sofa. Around it could be some stuff like this, like a mirror, some mirrors for another dynamics. Yeah, and if you imagine it, that stuff in the middle, that custom set, and around it is gonna be like vehicles and band mix, you know, drivers and motorcycle drivers around it. And you take a good frame and even like a video campaign, like how interesting that's gonna be, right? That's how we think about stuff, like, and you should as well. Like, I was like, okay, a lot of people have access to these cars nowadays, or just do a rental, but just that plain alone is just quite boring. How do I make it more interesting? I really like this, you know, Spider-Man stuff, Spider-Verse stuff. So I was like, okay, imagine all of them were in the full zip up, but instead of being in Paris, you know, next to them would be, you know, the custom set, plus around it would be the vehicles. Around it, you know, there would be, you know, BMX, you know, drivers doing some crazy shit on it. And when you took a good frame, like how interesting that's gonna be. Like, this Spider-Verse is going on, okay, but also, you know, the stuff in the background, the vibe design, again, the environment design. I keep saying it, I know, but I'm trying to get this into your mind, really. So we might have to get some, you know, fog machine, because we're gonna be in a hall, and I feel like that fog machine is gonna do a lot of stuff when it comes to, you know, how we're gonna light the scene. And, you know, the entire vibe is gonna be way more moody. So you know, I'm really excited for that shit. We gonna have to create a bit better shot list. Also, we're gonna need like a ladder for, you know, doing some top shots like this and some car shots like this. But again, that's something, you know, we have to still finish this film campaign with our creative directors. But this is the vibe. You know, the client agreed to all of this stuff, and we always need to wait for clients to agree to overall vibe before we actually create like an entire story. So Hominus Denim, another brand. These are the pieces. This is what our stylist did. Actually, we're gonna have 4 more pieces going here, but this was the main package he sent to us, but there's gonna be 4 more pieces into it. But as you can see here, like, this is like look 1 and 2. The stylist said like Burberry scarf, white bandana, pink Burberry, rabbit bag, something as an extra, because these fits are just a bit plain and we're trying to style them a bit, if the client agrees to, of course. Like if the client allows us, you know, being in different brands, then we have our stylists, you know, think about this stuff. Maybe schemas or scarf Indian style under the hoodie. Our stylist is great at this, so just stay tuned for the results. Try turning the hoodie into a scarf, freestyle, don't worry. Gray scarf, using the hoodie as an accessory around the waist or something like that. We have, you know, a ring that the client sent to us. We're gonna need like some extra beanie, but obviously like just like simple, not ultra, you know, popping graphics on the beanie. More accessories overall. So this is what the style is. So this is the vibe inspiration. It's pretty much quite simple for us, because, you know, it's something that doesn't require that much creative thinking. But concrete walls, you know, a lot of brutalistic architecture, as you can see here. I really like this chalk here, so we might, you know, use it. The client didn't like this way too much colorful, you know, type of lightning, so we're gonna go with, you know, more neutral style like this. I put some pictures of architecture for the sake of, you know, when people are on set, this is the vibe, you know, this is what we're trying to achieve. And he didn't really want to go with the street art stuff that we are actually going with the other brand. Some theme, again, this is for, we're not gonna be shooting pics like this, but just to show the models, show the people on set that this is the vibe, tune into this environment, and this is what we're cooking up today. Some designing inspirations, because, you know, we want some designing inspiration like this. Client approve it as well. So after we have base and everything ready, we're gonna have our designer cook up some of these stuff as well. Shot list, you know, we're gonna have like a shoot on spot, because again, this isn't that film campaign, this isn't like really film movie based that much, so it doesn't really require like heavy vision boarding. You remember the art gallery museum, right? I was like, okay, Mr. Client, we have this budget, right? How about we do something like this? We create, and this is, I don't want to do this in AI because I don't know how it's gonna look, but I had an idea of, you know, getting some architecture team, because we have the budget, the client has budget to do it, to create like a space like this. Imagine a set design like this. Talent's gonna be maybe in the middle whatsoever. We're gonna have all this futuristic stuff, you know, around this stuff, and we're gonna play with on set. Like, just remember how the client wanted to do this art gallery stuff. We took an inspiration of him, you know, wanting to be this futuristic brand, and we took it to a totally different level, because the client basically said, hey, I have budget, think as big as you can, and we were like, alright. So last brand that I want to talk about, and this is from today, and I actually did these pieces. We're gonna have speakers as props, and you know, model's gonna be doing a bit, like just flexing that shit and just emphasizing on the shut up stuff. And we might want to get some rentals. I haven't sent this to the client for approval yet, but we will see. We want to get this for, you know, rentals, at least 2 of these type shit cars, another prop, some tires, more speakers, and some composition pictures. Again, this is not finished, this is from today, but some composition that we might want to shoot. Oh shit, bro, this video is long. So third thing that we're gonna be talking about today is how the movement of offline communities create the online community. Pop-ups, party events, coding events, community events. Think about this. How can you gather an audience in real life that's gonna help you create your digital image better? How can you engage with people in real life more, with your community? How can you create an environment that your community will want to step in and engage in? For example, Named Collective did this reel, and they said, we just hit an unreleased track to somewhere in London. And again, this is one way to, you know, get a community engaged with, you know, interesting packaging here on top of it. Good form to, one, produce the content. Second thing, this doesn't have to be like, if you want to design your own fashion set, you know, or, you know, if you want to do some clubbing party stuff or interesting pop-ups, set designs, actual environment designs like this, do it. Like, get your community to engage somehow offline as well. So thanks to all these vibe designs, coding designs, environment designs that you're gonna have, running email campaigns, even if you're dumb, is gonna be way easier. If you take a look at these screen records that I have of some of, you know, email campaigns that I've been getting here, if you take a look at it, all of them are extremely simple when it comes to the actual text. For example, the only thing that's popping on is the actual image, right? The actual creativity, the actual vibe design of the email, of the image. The words, the fonts, you know, are pretty much theirs, and it's very simple. What makes it more interesting is the actual creatives, you know, the content of the email. Last thing I want to talk about, what you should really take from this. What are the principles that you need to take from this? First thing is understanding the content funnel, because content ideas are broken down to top of the funnel, content that drives virality and awareness, like, you know, basically people who maybe never see you and they see your content for the first time, for example. So basically just stuff that really drives awareness, not really like saying, oh, we have this discount code going on, like this Black Friday going on, nothing like that. That comes after for the actual, you know, purchasing decision. Middle of funnel means content to educate people on the brand, the vibe, the product, the clothing design, you know, maybe how the piece was made, you know, on behind the scenes, or how the shoot was made, or the actual shoot. That shoot itself could be, you know, top of the funnel. Behind the scenes of how the shoot, how the clothing design was made, could be like middle of funnel. So more brands in 2025 are gonna be using this content, you know, funnel as the testing foundation before running ads. Because now when you found like a winning content funnel and you use ads on that funnel, like that's just gonna boost it. But when you use ads and you don't know what works organically yet, and you don't have capital to really waste on testing on ads, then you might be demotivated because you're like, okay, why is this not working? I'm pouring money into this. But pouring money doesn't mean that the content itself is usable. So second thing that you need to really take as a principle is character to brand association. More brands are starting to introduce different models, influencers, talents, faces to different seasons, to different type of products, because they've developed this environment and a product, and then they need to pick a character that fits into that vibe. They don't pick just random people that, you know, maybe are in the fashion niche or are fashion models. They pick specific looking models, talent that fit what they are going for. Each character has a different vibe, so the goal would be connecting different characters behind each piece, so consumers start becoming a fan of that character in that season itself. So third thing, what you should really be understanding already is more brands are developing worlds, universes of vibes, and that making shit beautiful as of energy wise is everything. Fourth principle is accurate influencers marketing. Brands are gonna be cutting their sending to random influencers and hoping that the influencer is, you know, ever gonna make the content for them. And instead, they start being more focused with their overall brand strategy and making sure the influencer fits their overall image and is reliable, of course. So think of this as each influencer having their own content strategy, like, you know, your brand has top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel, and you are combining these two worlds, two content funnels from this influencer and from the brand together. So fifth thing is that we're entering this long form brand era. I wouldn't recommend doing long form unless you already have an audience on short form as a clothing brand, because short form is getting more competitive. So every brand nowadays know that they gotta be more creative than the other brand, more creative, have better vibes, create better worlds for, you know, a consumer to fit into, show more real energy through their content. Therefore, long form becomes an opportunity for your fan to connect more deeply. Right? Short form is this short relationship type of stuff that between your brand, but the long form stuff, since it's longer, they're gonna learn about you and the vibes on a more deeper basis. So seventh thing is brand community events, right? Brands are doing more offline stuff, connecting with their community in the real world, as that enhances the digital one. Seventh thing is brand community events. Brands are doing more offline stuff, connecting with their community in the real world, and that better enhances the digital one. So I want to show Project Comte brand here. Let's talk about 2024. Crazy growth in 1 year, from 153 followers to 152k followers. Hundreds of people going crazy with their tattoo. So they had this event of tattooing, you know, their own sort of logo tattoo, actually offline, like with their community. They were in some form of, you know, studio or whatever they did, and they actually were tattooing their community, getting to fly out to see Offset and Gunna in LA, and basically being on set with Gunna, so making interesting connections. They made their own custom truck where he was, you know, giving this black ice cream, because this is very opium, I'm gonna call it opium dark, you know, jewelry accessories. From that own truck, he actually were even throwing, you know, free stuff. So he had very branded custom truck, he were giving only black ice cream, and he were also giving free stuff for the people there. As you can see here, you know, they met their own community here. Crazy offline stuff. Eighth thing, brand partnerships. A lot of brands are starting to do brand and brand collaborations, or designer and designer collaborations, finding similar designers, artists with a similar taste and sort of target audience to collab on a project. Now, if you made it till here, I want to leave you with just playing a bunch of videos for you to take inspirations from, that you can just create and apply right now.
Actually kind of a vibe. Alright. Oof.
New you.
But what's actually new about you? Going gym, eating healthy, or cutting off that X?
I don't think so.
Should I make it a little bit easier for you?
What if we told you don't have to do anything drastic, cut anybody off, or become a new version of yourself?
How about upgrading something you already have? Like your wardrobe.
Like this, for example, while still attaining all the same qualities of your basic knit. It differs with its unique camo-like pattern, allowing versatility when pairing it with pieces. The mohair feature doubles as a bold statement, as well as warmth and comfort. On the theme of camo, this knit has a hidden woven design. If you can work out what it is, let us know in the comments. And lastly, which colorway do you prefer?
$10,000 to go make a short film in Utah for my clothing brand's next collection. And I never thought I'd do this, but this collection is just too good to not go all out on the campaign. So me and my roommate flew to Utah to shoot with the best team in the game, and I got to co-direct with my buddy Drew to put together the craziest short film production in streetwear. We shot for 2 days with an 11-member crew, a team of 12 awesome models, and $500,000 of camera equipment. And after a very chilly second day, we ended the weekend with a beautifully twisted story on tape and more than a few beers. I really do just love telling stories with my clothes, and I think I've just created one of the most relatable high production cinematics in streetwear.
Baby, you ain't got shit I need, bitch. You want me to take my time with you, or maybe I'm not your speed, bitch. Maybe I'm not your lead, bitch. You ain't got no cheese, bitch. Maybe I'm just too G for you, maybe I'm just too screed, bitch. I can even...
All of this I showed you so far are higher production value, and as you noticed, that's where Instagram is today in comparison to TikTok, where the production value is way more lower. That's it. Long ass video. If you like the video, like it. If you want to subscribe for more stuff, subscribe. And if you want me to do like a specific breakdown, for example, comment down below and I'll see you in the next. Peace out.